So today I thought we could have a look at this old Tenoner. It's a Haigh, it's a 3-head machine, very, very old. I'm not sure exactly of the date, but it's Dad seems to think it's pre-World War One. I know Haigh, the manufacturer of this machinery, they were established in 1854 in England. Yeah, very, very, very old machine. Originally didn't have the motors on the back of it that we see that's on it now. They were added by, I'm not sure whether it was my old friend that I got it from or whether it was his boss that actually added it. In any case, they're an after thing. They weren't part of the original machine. So what I might do is I might just grab the camera off and I might just come in a little bit closer and give you a closer look. As I said, it's a really good old machine. It's not in complete working condition at the moment, but I'll explain that as I go. So hopefully you can read that. Let's see if I can get it to focus. So it says W.B. Haigh & Co. Makers Oldham, England, McBrayer, Osborne & Co. Agents Sydney. So I don't know McBrayer and Osborne & Co. in Sydney, so they're probably long gone. Unfortunately, you can see I've got this old G-cramp on here, but the stop was actually broken off, if you can see that, long before I got it. I think it happened when my dad had the business before me. I think an employee might have broken it off. But it's a nice good long stop. You can do nice long tenons with that stop. Now here's the cutters for the tenoning heads. Sorry about being so wobbly here, it's a bit hard to hold the camera. Oops. So you got two individual knives on each head there. Very, very simple machine to adjust, this one. This is one of the reasons why I like it. It's easy to use as well. Very, very old switch gear on it. I really should replace all of that. It still works, but I should replace it just with something a bit newer. Yeah, the cramp here is the only thing that we don't like about this machine. Someone's had a go at trying to put a cramping system on it, and it really, I mean, it works, but if you're dressing hardwood, it's very, very difficult to hold the timber dead still. It'd be much better if they'd come up with some kind of thought about trying to actually cramp it down rather than just trying to use your hand here. So you can see here this red handle, so you pull that timber handle down and grab hold of that red handle, and that's how you hold the pressure down on the timber. It's pretty hard to do when you're doing cranky timbers. So if you watched my video of setting up the scribe on it, that's the scribing head. It's only as I said, it's a 3-header, and it's got a splayed scribing cutter on it so that we can do splayed mould. Now I used to do doors and sashes on this because, as I said, it was very easy to set up. So I used to interchange. It was just used whenever we had splayed stuff to do, which wasn't that common. Most of our work was ovolo. Now, as I said, these motors have all been put on long after the fact. It was a machine that was run off, if anybody's old enough to know what I'm talking about. The factory would have one huge engine or one huge motor, more often than not located underneath the floor, and they had one big belt that would run the length of the factory around the machines, and they'd have a big clutch handle on each machine, which would then, you would pull on that clutch handle to engage the belt to run whatever machine it was that you were using at the time. Now that's what this machine was. You can see down in there where the original shafts came through, or at least one of them anyway. But as I said, it's been motorized by either my old friend or his boss, I'm just not sure which. So it's a big machine, obviously all cast iron. It's probably, in its physical size, it's probably the biggest Tenoner that I have. It would be close to 2 meters across, and it's probably about 1.6, 1.7 meters high to its toppest point there on the switches. But the actual machine itself, not including that switch panel, would probably only be probably 1.4. But it does have a nice big table. That's the other thing that's really good about that. That table would be at least 1 meter wide, maybe more. So it is capable of doing big rails if you can hang on to them with that with that cramp that's been put on there. But I just thought I'd give you a look at this. I like it. Dad said to me years ago, why don't I sell it? But I like it. It works well. It's easy to adjust. As I said, it's not in full working condition at the moment because that motor there, that front one, every time I try to turn that on, it trips the breaker. And an electrician had a look at it, did some testing and whatnot, and it looks like that motor's just had it. So eventually, when I get some time, I've got another motor that I can put on there and I'll get it back to full running condition again, because apart from that, it works perfectly fine. It does a very good job, and it's not worth selling. Like I wouldn't get much money for it if I tried to sell it, so I'm far better off to hang on to it. Anyway, I'll finish that up here. I just thought some of you blokes that are into the older machinery and stuff might get a bit of a kick out of seeing something like this. Haigh, pretty rare machine in Australia. This is the only Haigh Tenoner I've ever seen. I've got an idea that one of my old mortises may have been a Haigh, but it didn't have any manufacturer casting name, like in the casting, didn't have their names in it anywhere. But I have seen an old Haigh mortiser just recently and it looked very, very similar, so perhaps my old mortiser was as well. But anyway, we'll finish it there, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.